Hey, I'm Nakia Nichelle, and this is the Just in Life podcast where entertainment, lifestyle, and inspiration come together. So be a part of the in crowd and join me along with the guests each week in this journey to entertain, enjoy, enlighten, and enhance ourselves just in life. Well, I want to say welcome back in crowd to another great episode. I'm a little sad, that it has taken me damn near half the month to do something in relation to Black History Month. But I know with your schedule, my guest schedule, it got a little tight, but we're getting it in. So today's episode, we're going to talk about, it's going to be a little bit enlightening, I feel like, because we're going to discuss Black History Month surrounding Black media. And my guest today is a really good friend. I've been having all my friends and all the things on the podcast, but a lot of my friends are in the industry and they're doing the damn thing. My guest today, and give a warm welcome in crowd because we got to rally him up, is Dave Leonard.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey,
Thanks for having me.
It's been a while since I've seen you. I thoroughly hold a candle in my heart for Dave because he's a really good friend of mine. But I want to go into who he really is, y'all. We gonna reveal all the secrets. But just kind of give a little insight on who you are, how you've made an impact in the industry, being a Black man. First things first is, you've been in this media industry for over 2 decades.
Yeah.
You're getting
long
old,
time,
Dave.
Long time. You see the grays in the beard.
No, I'm playing. So give the listeners a little bit about your history. I see you went to Columbia. You're a Columbia alumni.
Yep, Columbia College, Chicago. Shout out to all my alumni and folks from Columbia. Yeah, my name is David Leonard. For those that don't know, I am originally from Harvey, Illinois, south suburbs of Chicago. And I've worked in the entertainment industry a long time, both in film and television and on the music business side of things. I currently am an actor in front of the camera, but I also work behind the scenes as a location scout and location manager on various television, film, commercial.
Wait.
projects.
Now stop with the humble various television. Cut it out. Let's give you your props, bro. Location scout on Empire. Let's start there. The Shy, Shameless, Betrayal, Electric Dreams. These are some amazing shows that you have, been a part of. And it's so funny because yesterday I was talking to my boyfriend and we were watching, we just got a gimbal, which we, who knows why we need it, but we got one. And on this YouTube video, they were showcasing how this person was going out and scouting locations. And I'm like, this is exactly what Dave does.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, it hit him the importance of the location scout is literally setting the scene.
Yeah,
that they
absolutely.
get the script and then you have to go. Because if those that don't know what location scouting is, it's a thing. Okay. Dave has to go out. He gets the script. I'm just going to break it down for those because you're trying to be humble over there. You get the script and you read it over and you have to determine or decide, okay, this will probably be a good location for this shoot. This will be possibly a good location for that shoot. And you got to go talk to the location, all the things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a process. The location manager who basically handles all of the logistical planning of the shoots, involving all the locations we're going to be filming at, basically sits down with the production designer who is over the overall aesthetic and look and concept of how the show should feel, and then the director. And they kind of get an idea once they have the script, of how these different locations should feel and how they should look. And so they have these things called concept meetings where they talk with the producers and the writers and everybody, and they say, okay, so how should this type of house, feel? Should this be an older wood framed house? Should this be a brick house? Should this be in a urban neighborhood, or should it be more rural, have a rural feel to it? So they go over all these ideas and concepts and aesthetics and ideas for the show and how the episodes should look, and then the manager basically communicates that to the scout and says, okay, here's what it should look like. So then we have to have an idea of where we want to go to find these certain locations.
Yeah, and then before that, and this is how we initially met and became friends, is when you were working for Geffen Records, and you were at that time, doing all of the traveling and promoting with artists.
Yes.
So you've worked with artists like the Pussycat Dolls, Gwen Stefani, Carrie Hilson.
Yep.
That's how I got my Carrie Hilson interview.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Geffen Records shuttered, but then you moved on into the film side. So you've had both world. Okay, we can do this now. Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
In film and the film and TV, as well as music. And throughout your 2 decades, this is what, one of the topics that I really wanted to delve into is representation in Black media. And you've seen it. You've seen it be at its best. You've seen it be at its worst. Where do you think that we're at now with representation?
It's a constant, struggle, or marathon, I should say. It's not, it's definitely, in my opinion, better than where it's been, but we still have, long way to go and a continued fight. But I feel like there is a much better and larger representation than there has been in the past. And as long as we, have content creators out there who, create those paths and, develop these ideas and stories, that, it'll only continue to grow. And, we also have to just not create it, but we have to own it. So that's the importance of being able to see our stories be told, being able to see our media represented, and not just always have to rely on other outlets to provide that for us. We have to own it, just like you're doing here. So kudos to you for that.
Oh.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you. I've been trying to own it and create it for years and decades, and I think a lot of the times where there's a lack of is funding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where a lot of it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
To be able to create content and have really high end content, and it can be a struggle,
Sure.
as you know.
Sure, yeah.
Because on the flip side of the coin is you're the artist. You're the one that is in front of the camera or behind the mic. You guys, you have a podcast as well.
Yep.
Promote that. Yeah. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Check out On the Series 33 and the Third podcast, also on the Anchor platform.
Yeah. So, that there is, as you very well know, there's a struggle there.
Yeah.
To be able to get the word out and get a following and get people to support your platform.
Yeah.
And it just is very interesting to me because not only are you behind the scenes at this point, but you're still doing things in front of the scenes.
Yeah.
So as not only a creator, but a Black actor, what are some of the challenges throughout your decades in this industry that you've had to face, and how do you continue to keep going? Because I know there's days where you like, listen, I'm ready to give it all, quit this shit now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just in general, I think in whether you're working in front of the camera, but especially if you're an actor, you have to deal with constant rejection. So being faced with that is something that always makes you want to kind of throw in the towel sometime. But if you're really passionate about it and really want to try to make some type of career of it, you got to keep pushing forward. So I think that's definitely a challenge. Also, again, going back to the not necessarily having enough opportunities as black actors. A lot of times I'll look at some of these breakdowns that come out, and you really have to. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes, where you're trying to find the roles that are for the black actors. So there's, again, that goes back to the whole creating your own opportunities thing, because those opportunities don't always exist. So you have to create those opportunities. So I think that because we have so many different outlets now, and streaming services and podcast platforms and all of these different things, that has made it easier for us to kind of go around the gatekeepers and create those opportunities for ourselves.
Absolutely. The gatekeepers, they need to be squashed. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And we've had this conversation. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's so much talent out there.
Yeah.
And I think that when people complain about we're getting the same talent all the time, it's just because you're not looking. There are people out there doing things and creating things all the time. Absolutely. And I think that gatekeepers are keeping it being as visible as possible, if that makes any sense. And in a way, I mean, I get gatekeeped too. With me being a smaller media outlet, and not only on top of that, being a black woman, just me being black. Let's just start there.
Yeah, sure.
There's gatekeeping with, you're not going to be able to talk to my white actor. Or actress. Or talent. And I have a lot of people that be like, I love your interviews. You should interview this person. Would love to. Would absolutely love to, but gatekeeping.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely a struggle that I see within black culture. And with each other. And I think that's one of the positive things about you. You haven't gatekeeped me.
No, I mean, I've been given so many opportunities. Of course, first I got to give thanks to God for that, but just from the relationships I've made over the years and people that have opened the doors for me, and honestly, if I'm being real, a lot of them have come from black women. Most of the my first opportunity working in the music business was from my mentor, rest in peace, Tammy Tisdale Coleman. Working in locations, one of the people who's been most influential in my career, and getting me into the union and things like that is, a sister I work with, from time to time, Miss Natasha Ogin. So it's different people like that who have, opened doors and, created, opportunities for me. So I want to pay it forward to, those folks who I see that are out there grinding and, making it happen. And, hopefully, they can, benefit from whatever knowledge or, context or whatever I can connect them with. So,
as it's so crazy. So with black media, I feel like there is those that pay it forward. And there is those, of course, that don't. But black media has had such an impact on our society as a whole. Let's just talk about, like, for example, when Biden was running for presidency, and Cardi B was advocating for him. So it's permeated into not only music, films, television, but also it has shaped culture. It has permeated into politics and social movements, and even sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to even mention, I was a little hesitant right there.
Yeah,
you could tell.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
but it's true. So, what's your thoughts on that? What do you, how do you feel? Like, do you think that, because some people are on the fence. They feel like, okay, you're using Black voices and Black faces to pander to a Black audience. Or some people are like, well, Black people do live in this world.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's a pandering situation. I feel like, we have to be visible, at everywhere. And it's just like, like I've worked at companies where I've been the only Black person there. And, I might have been brought in to initially engage, Black business. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I might be getting a seat at the table that wasn't, available before. And now I can turn that opportunity into something else that might, will benefit my people long term. So it's, it's kind of that thing where, maybe sometimes they are doing that to try to engage so that they can, utilize, whatever talents or whatever that we need. And, hopefully they're not just going to kick us to the curb after that. But at the end of the day, I think the bigger picture is, okay, once you get in that seat, how can you make this benefit our people, long term, and, make a door and more opportunities to grow out of that. So I think that's what's, really important about that.
Yeah. So I would say I'm kind of on the fence just because, let's just take sports, for example.
Yeah.
I loved seeing Rihanna at the Super Bowl this past Sunday or whenever it just aired. Absolutely. Some of these people that Jay-Z has brought on, because this is the Jay-Z effect, or Rock Nation, or however you want to frame it.
Sure,
Let's just be freaking real here, okay?
Yeah.
I absolutely think I didn't want to see another country song. I don't watch football.
Yeah.
I'm not into sports because of, I feel that they consider that an American sport. And then sometimes I feel like there's no America represented wholly and fully.
Okay.
And I feel like the players are utilized and, but that's a whole other thing. There may be a whole nother topic, but used in a way to get the eyes on the show. But then when it comes to, in the past, a Showtime performance, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely can be some of that, but I mean.
Or halftime performance.
But then, you look on the flip side too with the whole Colin Kaepernick situation,
That too.
He put a light on, some of those things that, we felt, strongly about, and made everybody kind of pay attention and made people think about how they approach, things. Now,
Did it work?
Right, exactly. Still
Maybe.
A long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Long way to go.
Yeah.
But there have been some, at least the conversations being had, and now the attention is being, drawn to it. And so that, is a step, I think, in the right place. But yeah, it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, definitely still a long way to go. And I think that with the lack thereof of history and educating the history of people that have had an impact in certain spaces is what causes the issue. For example, here I go with these examples. Okay? I recently did an interview with Isiah Washington. And we all know, if you don't know, Isiah Washington. First of all, he's from my favorite movie of all time, Love Jones. Yeah. Which didn't you work on Love Jones?
I did not
Okay,
work
you
on
didn't.
Love Jones.
Okay, you didn't work on Love Jones, but there was a huge love affair that I had with the movie Love Jones for such a long time, and it was so strong, my love affair with the movie Love Jones, that I would want to frequent the places that were in the film.
Oh, yeah.
So when I had the chance to speak to Isiah Washington about, his new film that he was premiering, and if you guys please, are listening to this podcast at this point, stay tuned, because I will air the interview that I'm talking about. We'll go ahead and play that after my discussion with Dave. But Isiah Washington put me on to Bass Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who Bass Reeves is?
I had heard of him prior to the movie, so I was somewhat familiar with him. But again, that was something that my mom and dad had taught me about. I didn't learn about it in school, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, because your mom, may she rest in peace, was heavily into like.
Yeah, my mom was a huge writer and playwright, and I want to say at one point my mom had written a Black Western.
Oh, wow.
So probably when she was doing her research for that, that's where I might have, learned about Bass Reeves, but yeah. Yeah.
So Bass Reeves is basically, if you guys don't know, Black man. Mm-hmm. And was an American law enforcement official. I think he was the first Black deputy in U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River. Mm-hmm. He worked mostly in Arkansas and the Oklahoma territory, but he had a very long career and record of more than 3,000 arrests. Mm-hmm. This is a Black man. Mm. During 1838. Okay? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, here's some information, like, you never know. And then it was so interesting because with that interview with Isiah Washington, he also spoke about and the name is escaping me, but I will figure it out. The first Black man.
Oh, was it Bill Foster or William
Foster? Yes, okay. Bill Foster. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Yes. Bill Foster, first Black man here in Chicago that opened a production company, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I'm right now, typing it in on my phone because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the correct information. But this is some of the impact. William Foster. So 1884 is when he was born, and passed away in 1940. But he was a pioneering African-American film producer who... Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why have we not gotten to the meat and potatoes of all of this? Right. I say meat and potatoes a lot. Yeah. I got someone, my boyfriend brought this to my attention. He's like, what is with you and this meat and damn potatoes? I'm like, that's the perfect words for it. But William Foster, he was an African-American film producer who was an influential figure in the Black film industry in the early 20th century.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He was the first African-American to found a film production company, establishing the Foster Photoplay Company in Chicago in 1910. The more you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I have yet to hear, and unless my ears have been plugged, I have yet to hear anyone in Chicago mention William Foster.
But you know who you do hear about in Chicago around that time regarding film? Charlie Chaplin. So
cut it out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is why it's super important, not only representation, but giving true history and not watering it down.
Yeah.
Because there were some really influential people doing some amazing things that were Black.
Absolutely.
In film,
Yeah.
in music, in television. Don't know if TV was around in 1910. I don't know. Maybe. I would say yes.
Yeah.
Maybe black and white, but not.
Who is? And I'm not putting it on the spot. I'm literally just asking this out loud. Who was like one of the first Black journalists that? That would be something to research there.
That would be. I from time to time when I'm like watching films because or documentaries, it's also always very intriguing to me when I see old footage.
Yeah.
Cuz I'm like, who
Right.
they had a video?
Yeah.
Because you automatically assume and think that like at the beginning of 1900s that's when it was maybe a thing.
Yeah.
But I know I'm wrong. So let's look. First Black journalist, and we can do it real quick. First Black journalist.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested to know.
Yeah, I would be too. Just because let's not. Alice Allison Dunging is what they're saying is the first Black journalist.
And which
here she is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. She looks gorgeous. It says that now again, this is Wikipedia, so I don't know how accurate this is, but this is what I look up. It says she was the first African American female correspondent to receive White House credentials and the first Black female member of the Senate and House of Representatives press galleries. So she was born in 1906.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know if she was like it says she was known for the first Black journalist to cover the White House.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
I don't know if she was just the first Black journalist. No. Now we're going back a little bit in the 1800s.
Okay.
Let's go there. It's saying Ida B. Wells.
Really?
That's what it's saying. Now, I don't know how accurate Wikipedia is, but it says that Ida B. Wells was an American investigative journalist, educator, and early leader in the civil rights movement. She was one of the founders of the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, also known as NAACP. Do you know?
Yeah.
I was on Twitter, and it was funny / sad because somebody had said, "Oh, well, if there's a NAACP, there needs to be a WAACP," and people were like, "What did you think the N stand for? What did you think the N stand for?" It would be national, not it's okay. Yeah. But okay, wow. That just made me think of that when I saw that. But yeah, it says that she I'm assuming she journalist and a newspaper editor. So, and then think about the Chicago Reader.
I was about to say from Chicago.
And from Chicago. Yeah. I mean, so we here in Chicago have done a lot of great.
A lot of legends come out of Chicago.
Legends. I mean, huge. And I think that for me, a lot of the issues is it's not appreciated until you either leave.
Yeah.
Or you're unalive.
Yeah. Right. I was right.
You're unalive.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
oh
my God, it's like, nah, we ain't doing that. But on that note, I know that you got a chance to kind of look over my episode with Isiah Washington. So, Dave, I really wanted to kind of get your thoughts and opinion on, because I know you watched Isiah Washington. I'm sorry, I'm cracking up because
I'm a little hungry.
because Dave is hungry over here, and you would think I am starving this man out. I offered him something to eat. I said a black man must eat, and he is not taking any food now. We're going to try to finish this up as quickly as possible. Before we go,
That's hilarious.
would love to get your thoughts and opinion on how Isiah Washington, his thoughts on not only Bass Reeves, but his directorial debut and just black artists in media.
No, hopefully my stomach won't answer before I do, but no, I think those stories are very important because, again, like we, mentioned, those are the things that we don't get taught in school or in our history books. So, a lot of these folks we wouldn't have even known, like you just mentioned, Bill Foster's history. I didn't know that. I'm from Chicago, and one of the, like I said, earliest Hollywood names that would always come up when Chicago was mentioned was Charlie Chaplin.
Right.
So, those stories have to keep being told, and, artists have to keep championing those stories. And there's really no excuse for those stories not to get out anymore. I mean, we have so many different outlets and streams, and, you can't let, money or anything deter your vision, from getting out there. Like I said, there's no need to ask for permission. Don't wait, create, whatever the saying is, I
love that one.
Yeah.
Don't wait, create.
Yeah. If you have an idea, we mentioned, the podcast that I do with some friends earlier, that came out of the pandemic. A lot of us were stuck in our houses during the pandemic.
Sure was.
And for that, 6 or 7 months that I was not working and stuck in the house, so many creative ideas came out of that. I started an LLC. I wrote a short film. I started creating a T-shirt business online. I came up with actually my buddy Drew came up with the idea for the podcast, but then I started figuring out how to implement that, and then we came together and collectively came up with the title and how we were going to record and all that. But I say that to say, I wasn't letting life's challenges and everything get in the way. That it was a moment to just sit down, be quiet, think, and figure out, okay, how, what's next? Once we come out of this, how are we going to move forward from here? And what ideas, now that I have the time to not focus on just working, now I can really focus on being creative and not allowing, life's normal challenges, or at that time, abnormal challenges, keep the creative spirit down. So I wanted to, make sure that I was able to express the creative spirit. And a lot of people created a lot of content out of that.
For sure.
Because they were stuck in their houses. They couldn't go anywhere.
What else could you do?
So you turn on that phone and, so many ideas came out of that time. So I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, but again.
Dave style.
Right. Again, I think that, Isiah was, right on the head with, I think he said his budget was like $300,000 or something. And, you got to find that money from somewhere, crowdfund, ask your friends that owe you money and, get it how you can, but get it, he got it done at the end of the day.
He did. He did get it done. So you guys, if you can, pause and take a minute. It's about a 5-minute interview. We're going to go ahead and play. This is my interview with actor and now director for his title, Isiah Washington.
What do you want? Now that ain't no way to greet visitors.
Just keep on riding.
I don't think so, ma'am. We're gonna stay for a while.
Dawn in this gang hired, terrorized, and killed anybody that get in their way.
I assume you're a lawman?
Federal marshal.
You leaving again now?
Wherever this dollar ball goes, he leaves trail of bodies behind. Men, women, children.
Hey, it's Nakia Nichelle, and this just in. Joining me today, I have actor, director Isiah Washington. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me.
Absolutely.
We are here at White Smoke and Ash in celebration for this is your directorial debut
Yes, it is.
with
Corsicana. That's
Corsicana.
fine. It was foreign to me 2.5 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, it's okay.
I know. It's such an interesting story.
Did you see the movie?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I watched it on Sunday.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
About.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I
Thank
did.
you.
I really loved it because I didn't know about Bass Reeves.
And I didn't know about Bass Reeves 2.5 years ago, or Corsicana, the importance of the Corsicana oil boom, which ultimately became ExxonMobil. I knew nothing about it, which is what attracted me to the story as an actor eventually. I wasn't there to direct it. I was a director by default because the original director that had been on the project for 4 months quit or was fired. I don't really know the story. But he was no longer interested 2 days before we were shooting. We had a thunderstorm which bought us another extra day, but now we were running to what we call insurance days. So the investor, Eben McNutt, who's also in the movie, was losing money. And I don't want to be a part of anything where people are losing money. I know what it is to lose money, right? So the last thing I wanted to do was have 40 people go home during the COVID shutdown without jobs. So I did the unthinkable. Because I had done so much research, 22 there, 5 days, not knowing what's going on, I continued to research Bass Reeves because he's so much information on him in the book by R.T. Burton, who lives in Illinois, outside of Chicago. This book called A Black Gun, Silver Star, which was my blueprint to give you everything that's in the movie about Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves was not the lead, was not the prominent story. I wrote all of that in I probably had 48 hours of sleep and 21 days of shooting.
Oh, wow.
And wrote after hours, wrote at lunch, wrote scenes, rewrote things so we could make this original script that was really a 32-day shoot, $8 million budgeted, John Wick in the woods kind of movie. And I'm like, I don't know who told you could make this for $300,000, but I need a whole lot more money.
Right.
To get this done. Exactly. And she was like, what? I was like, or I could go home. So more than double of what she was led to believe to get this done was invested. And it turned out to be a good idea.
Yeah, it was educational. I think that a lot of people need to know about Bass Reeves, and you also mentioned Will Foster, who was, I saw you on GN this morning.
That's correct.
And you mentioned him and how he was the first black man that created a production.
Will Foster production company here in Chicago in 1910, and also was the mentor and the provider for the success of Oscar Micheaux, who became technically the first African-American true independent filmmaker that ended up doing what he did so well, four-walling it, taking it to every theater, local theater that was empty, to show these movies where African-Americans could see themselves in a positive way, which offset D.W. Griffith's movie Birth of a Nation, which was the birth of a narrative. Is to have all the world be afraid of black men, that they're gonna rape and fornicate with your white women. And it's like, we're not all checking for your white women like that, dude. We're just trying to live, find education and shelter and have a job to take care of our families. That's not who we are. We could be funny, we could be this. And in fact, Will Marston, I can't remember the film, you can research it, but he did a comedy that the life and times of a railroad conductor and all the kinds of different personalities, quirky personalities that they encounter, be they bigoted, be they biased, but how he dealt with them in a funny way. So much so that they took his style and structure, and the Keystone Cops were created out of that. He never got any credit for it, but if you research the Keystone Cops before sound was a huge success in black and white moving pictures. But William Foster never got the credit for that structure for a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no sound.
For
me to be in Chicago,
right.
Sam Greenlee, Spook Set by the Door, there's just a plethora of great films that have been made here. So I just feel honored that I'm here to show my film as a true independent, without major distribution, without major marketing plan to get your attention,
right.
Like Wakanda, the multi-million-dollar. But I'm still competing in the same theaters that all these movies are in. And I'm already told that people are not happy with Avatar 2. So it's great, so good. Then hopefully you show up and convince the owners of Icon, instead of giving me one day, just keep me in the theater so people can have options.
Right.
It's still entertaining. Doesn't matter if you have more than a black director or a black lead. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining.
And
it can make money. And it's part of American history that many people are not aware of, that we can all appreciate because it finds a great through line of commonality. I wrote the character California.
Okay.
That wasn't in the script. I wrote that because I'm tired of this idea that all white people are inherently evil. You got a lot of people that are evil.
Right.
But not all white people are evil or looking to like do us harm.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
I just got sick and tired of that. So I wanted to address that in my way and not Spike Lee you, hit you in the nose, wake up, the man is here to kill us.
It was very chill.
Like we're working together, good guys against the bad guys, good guys win, good guys go home.
Right.
Bad guys die.
Right. End of story.
End of story.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well,
back to the basics.
One thing that I have to say, through you, like you said, you've been in this industry for 30 years. And I love the fact that you're moving into another space, like directing. What were between acting and directing, what is the most challenges on the directing side? Because acting, I'm pretty sure you're very familiar and comfortable, but directing can be a new territory.
Well, I'm not asking for permission from the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
So I'm very vocal. I speak my mind. I'm loud and proud. I'm not afraid of a good, holistic debate based on facts. I started off as an educator, worked in the private sector, in the military. So I had other experiences before the age of 23 when I was anointed with this opportunity, this gift to become an actor. And I started at the ground floor. I do everything in 10 years. So I never want to be a director, but I wanted to be a producer. Because the producers are anonymous. They make money, millions and millions of dollars, and you can meet them and you never know who they are. I really thought that was cool. So my goal was to just be a producer. But I really feel that this opportunity was just put on me because Warren Beatty and Steven Soderbergh and Clint Eastwood and Spike Lee always said that you should be a director. And I was like, no, I don't want to be you. You're an asshole. You know what? You treat people bad because you're God. I don't want to be a horrible God. But now that I know that, yes, you have to be passionate, you have to be a taskmaster. People are not going to like you because they're going to challenge authority naturally. But if you have a vision that other people don't really understand, they're just there for a check, then yeah, you're going to get pushback. But ultimately, we all win in the end because the leader has to be a leader. And we just have a generation now that there's very little respect for elders, very little respect for true leaders. Everything has to be debated. Everything has to be challenged. And I just realized that.
Excuse me 1 second. Disappear.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Was it over? Did she just wrap us?
I guess so.
But ultimately, my goal was to change the narrative of how you perceive directors and occupy a space that many people are not comfortable with. If you notice, George Tillman, Spike Lee, and Fuqua, most of our African American directors are treated horribly in the press. Not because they're not talented, it's because they're viable competition for a limited amount of very valuable resources. And that's not racism, that's just human nature, is that I don't want to have to compete with someone who I think may could do it better than I. So the fact that I'm on the outside of the system competing in the same theater, I don't have, I'm not beholden to the gatekeepers. And that's gonna probably, turn a lot of people off because it's like he's not going through us. We can't control him. The people are listening to him. He has a voice. He has but that has to change. Like anything, slavery they had laws for slavery, right? And eventually people stood up against that, and it changed. So I feel like I'm a disruptor. That it's time to make a change where everyone can sit at the table and participate in this wealth building.
Yes, absolutely. It seems that we're getting wrapped, but I do want to say that my favorite movie that you were in.
Don't say Love Jones.
I have to. I have to.
Well, how about that?
I have
Look
to.
at that. I almost got fired off of that because I refused to cut my locks.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no, I had the producer come in my trailer with clippers that said, I've never seen a professor at Northwestern University that look like you, and I'm coming here to cut your locks. And I said, did you pack a lunch? Because I'm gonna keep these locks 25 years. My people gonna have locks, and it's not gonna be an issue because our hair shouldn't dictate what's in our heart, what's in our intellect, and what's in our spirit.
Yeah.
So I've almost been fired fighting for us, not just black people, but all of us with a heart to do the right thing. Not to be corny like Spike Lee, but that's what I've been doing. And I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate
And
you.
I hope everybody goes and sees the film.
Whether they do or not, it's gonna end up on Amazon one way or the other.
I know, and they'll be watching it. And then just a quick photo, and then I'll let you get out.
Let's do it. Well, we definitely been rapped. They rapped us cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
They rapped this like ABC.
All right, so welcome back from the interview. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. That, gave you an idea of what me and Dave were talking about. But after the interview, I think that, between the interview and my interview with you, Dave, I think that we have said enough for the listeners, and really took the time out to, celebrate media during Black History Month. That is really the point of this episode. So I want to thank you, Dave, for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. Please, I hope this is not the last time that you're here. I hope you come back.
Yes, absolutely.
And I wanted to say thank you to all you lovely listeners for tuning in. Now, remember, okay, Black History Month is a time to celebrate the contributions of Black people to society and to reflect on the ways in which Black media has and continues to shape our culture, okay? Don't just celebrate, though, Black media during Black History Month. Celebrate it every day.
Absolutely.
And one way you could celebrate is by supporting Black creators in any way, in shape or form that you can.
Absolutely. So
if you haven't already, please take the time to join the Just in Life community, aka the In Crowd, on social media. This is where we discuss each and every episode. We put up clips, and we do all of things. Okay. So again, thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
And thank you, guys. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye.